Hey, how about you, everybody? Welcome to this week's edition of the Auburn Live Recruiting Show. I'm your host, Jeffrey Lee, Senior Recruiting Editor for Auburn Live on 3. Today is Wednesday, September 6, 2023, and I'm joined, as I always am, 65% of the time, by Mr. Jhead and Mr. Cole Pinkston. How about you, fellas?
We're moving up.
I'm telling you, see, Cole's getting that extra percent. He's a little under the weather today, but you know what? He showed up just the same.
There you go.
Not skipping the podcast. I'll get that extra 5 today from Jeffrey.
That's worth an extra 5, no doubt.
In-season podcasts are always worth an extra 5.
Hey.
In season, because Auburn has started its season. They started off with a 59-14 win over UMass this past Saturday. That wasn't the recruiting news we're going to be talking about, though. Shortly after that win, the first of the Hugh Freeze era, Auburn picked up a commitment, an offensive line commitment from 2025 unranked offensive tackle, offensive guard, kind of that versatile swing guy that Auburn loves, this new staff loves, in Spencer Dowling from Athens, Alabama. Cole Pinkston was all over this one, Big Dog. What do you think about Mr. Dowling there, Cole?
Yeah, I don't know where he fits quite yet. I think it's still a wait and see thing with him. He's young. Offensive linemen, like we've talked about 100 times, are hard to pin down what they are until they get a little bit older. And he's going to have to add some weight as he goes along, and he will. He's got a good frame to do so. I like him. I like his mentality, number one. I think that is the number one thing. I don't think Spencer is an elite athlete for an offensive lineman, but I think he's a good athlete. Number one, though, for me is his mentality and the way he finishes blocks, but the way he approaches them too. I like the way he's got that edge about him. And from what I can tell, he has picked that up even more during his junior season film that I've seen so far. A lot of background on that one that I could give. I don't want to go too long, but, man, basically Rodney Garner from Tennessee came in and said, you're going to be one of our top guys for 2025 on the offensive line. He said something along the lines of, I played for Pat Dye, and he knew how to pick an offensive lineman out of a room. He said, and you're one of the guys he would have picked 100%. And Tennessee was on him hard, and he was leading Tennessee until he camped at Auburn. And that was pretty much what did it. He said, all right, let's get back for Big Cat. Yep, I'm good. All right, won't waste too much more time with this.
Man, that was he was there Saturday for the opening game on an unofficial visit with his parents, his mom, and his dad. I think was his sister there? Somebody else with him? Or was it just those three?
His mom and dad are all that I saw.
Okay. He may not even have a sister, dude. I don't know. And then the following day, we're going to get to that in just a minute. Auburn picked up a 2024 offensive line commitment. Big one there. Before we do, though, I want to tell everybody in or around Auburn, Opelika, Lee County, Alabama, if you're looking to buy or sell your home, look no further for the help you will need. Jessica Andrews, the 5-star realtor from the Talents Group. Give her a call, 334-704-4442. Fantastic realtor, goes above and beyond what she is should do. I mean, she works her tail off, folks. I see it firsthand. Give her a call if you need anything done in or around Auburn, Opelika, Lee County. Jessica Andrews with the Talents Group, 334-704-4442. Tell her we sent you. All right, so as I said, Sunday, less than 24 hours after Spencer Dowling committed to the 2025 class, Auburn picked up a 2024 offensive line commitment. Mr. 4-star interior offensive lineman is what he's listed as. I don't have any reason to doubt that. Mr. DeAndre Carter from Santa Ana, California. Mater Day! Jhead, you like this fella, don't you?
Love this big fella. Listen, I'll take an offensive lineman any which way we can get him at this point, but one of this caliber, a guy with his feet, his athleticism. Now, Cole's right. He hit it on the show on Sunday. He's going to have to reshape his body somewhat, but that's not untypical of most offensive linemen that are coming from the high school ranks, right? That's just part of the game of getting them in a nutrition program, strength and development, kind of getting them to what they can be. But this is a young man that can play sooner rather than later, in my honest opinion. He's very talented, versatile, like we talked about, could play guard, could play tackle, contingent on the needs of the way that the rest of this offensive line class shakes out. And to be honest, it maybe depends on, how some of these guys from the year prior develop, because he can come in and compete with those guys right now, in my honest opinion, with the exception of maybe Dylan Senda and Connor Liu. I think those two guys are advanced, and everybody else this kid's on par with right now. So really big pickup from Auburn from that standpoint. And then from the perception side of things, you're talking about a guy that gave you a quantum leap in the rankings. I mean, I think you shot from 15 or 14 all the way up to number 11 in the national rankings. Now you're number 6 in the SEC, so you're in that top half bracket of where you want to live as far as that's concerned. So all the way around, a big win for Auburn from an actual talent-based acquisition standpoint to a perception standpoint to a need standpoint. It's a major win for us.
I cannot remember the last high school kid Auburn got a commitment from us, as far as it's gotten to this point, from California, from modern day. This is one of the top programs, if not the top program, high school program in the country, sans IMG. But as far as public school systems, I think it's a public school. Is it private?
It's public. I'm pretty sure it's public.
This is elite. And Auburn, Ben Agamaya, Jake Thornton, Hugh Freeze, all those guys teamed up, got the commitments from DeAndre Carter. Huge. Jhead, since his commitment, he did boost Auburn up to the number 11 in the country. I think since then, somebody behind Auburn has gotten another commitment.
Okay.
So Auburn is now 12th in the nation. I mean, you got a top 12 class. We said anywhere from 8 to 12. I think all of us kind of agreed this class was sitting, the meat zone there was 8 to 12 at the end of the year. Auburn has just now, kind of gotten into that zone. I expect them only to go up from here. There's not many spots left. We're thinking maybe 8, somewhere around, 6 to 8.
I would think 8 max. I think anywhere between 23 to 25 total commitments. I think that's what me and Cole have talked about privately and what we've discussed here on the show, is that's probably, and to get to that 25 number, they're going to have to be some dudes. It's not just going to be average Joes that we're taking some Johnny tryhards. This is going to be legitimate, dudes, or they're going to allocate those spots for the transfer portal or the Juco ranks. They're looking for impact guys.
Well, let's talk about some of the spots still left on the board. We know Auburn wants another running back. We know they want another tight end. We know they want another linebacker, another DB, a couple of offensive linemen. So now you're looking at, if they just get those guys, talk to me. Am I wrong here?
No, I think you're spot on. But Cole, you go ahead and jump in.
No, I think that's perfect. Depending on how it plays out, that number is real fluid. Obviously, it always is. But
sure,
you don't know what. That's the thing. When people ask that question, I'm always like, "Well, I just don't know." What the attrition is going to be,
right?
Because that's going to bring that number up. And obviously, they like the team they have right now that they built out of the portal, for the most part. But they want to try to wean away from the portal as soon as possible. And again, it depends on how many studs you can get in this class. And when we were talking about this, months ago, we were like, they won't get Perry Thompson. They won't get DeMarcus Riddick.
Right.
They'll miss on these guys. But they're starting to get them. DeAndre Carter, when his name first surfaced, we were like, that'll be fun for a minute. Not the case. So, I think this back half of this recruiting class, this recruiting cycle, I think there's going to be some studs that you're probably not expecting. I feel that way. I really feel that they will win some of these battles on the back half.
I agree, and I think the season's going to have a lot to do with that. I'm just looking back over my hot board. On defense, I could see them taking maybe 3 more, another D lineman, another linebacker, and another DB. That's at minimum. I would say 3 to 5, because if you can flip a Jeremiah Beeman and a Cam Franklin, and you get a Bradley Shaw or Jamonte Waller, do you add Antonio White? Do you go for the Quan Robinson, the Juco kid? A lot of possibilities there. But the defensive class to me is very, very stellar. It's more than stellar, especially for an offensive-minded head coach like Hugh Freeze. On offense, we know Auburn wants another running back to go along with Jamarion Burnett. We know Auburn continues to heavily recruit wide receivers such as Nye Carr and Cam Coleman. That to me could be if we can get them, let's get them. If we don't, we're okay. Because Malcolm Simmons, don't forget about Jalewis Solomon. This cat's going off. He's listed as a DB on Auburn's commitment list, but I have been told he can play wide receiver too. So Of course, we know Auburn wants another tight end to go with Martavius Collins.
Mm-hmm.
At least 2 more. I would think that's at least safe to say on offensive line, at least 2 more. And it kind of brings us to the next thing I wanted to talk about with us, which was Jhead's post today on the corner, which was a fantastic and insightful post. Auburn football recruiting top uncommitted targets left on the board. Jhead came in with that. Jhead, talk to us about your I think you had 5 or 6 maybe.
So it was 7 total.
That's what I said.
5 main.
Oh, I forgot about the bonus. I'm sorry. Yeah.
And 2 bonus targets that we'll get into. But the first one, and I want your guys' opinion as we kind of go point by point here. The first one's L.J. McCray. I mean, I think it goes unsaid that landing another premier defensive lineman in this class is an absolute focus of the staff and Jeremy Garrett right now. I don't think anybody would argue that. Now, 2 of the guys that I would put on that impact class, Jeremiah Beeman and Kamarion Franklin, are committed elsewhere right now. So you're going to have to flip them to get them in this class. L.J. McCray happens to be the only one that's uncommitted. How do you guys feel about defensive line recruiting? And honestly, I think they could take as many as 5 defensive linemen in this class. I think they really want to retool that room, if I'm being honest.
I would not doubt them. I've got him at 4 to 5, at least 1 to 2 more on the defensive on the hot board. L.J. McCray, this is one of those guys. I've got him at 15% on the hot board. And I think that might be too high. That's just me, man. Y'all might have. I just don't. I feel like if he goes anywhere outside of the state of Florida, it's going to be Georgia. And so Auburn's in his top 5, but I think Auburn's number 5. So if it's going to be, if he's going to end up at Auburn, a lot's going to have to change over the next couple of months. And I think I saw where he wanted to be committed by the end of November. He's already been to Auburn for an official visit. I just don't give the Tigers a lot of chance there. I think they have a better shot at flipping Jeremiah Beeman or Kamarion Franklin than they do at getting L.J. McCray. Again, just my opinion.
No, I'm with you on that, Jeffrey. I agree with that. I'm not feeling L.J. McCray and Auburn. In fact, I think I might be feeling Florida or Florida State there, staying in state. But
yeah,
Bradley Shaw, who's on your list, Jhead, I want to touch on him. I think his stock is up right now for Auburn's recruiting.
Yeah.
And I went and saw him 2 weeks ago, I guess. Didn't get an interview with him because it's just one of those deals. Hoover got beat real bad, and they went in the locker room. I said, let's leave that alone. Again, he's not going to say too much either if I do talk to him. But I hadn't gotten the feeling that Auburn was huge on him. Mm-hmm. In other words, they like him. They would take him. If he wanted in today, they'd say yes, without question. But are they blowing up his phone? Are they knocking his door down trying to get him? I'm not quite sure. I think that might change a little bit. And the reason is because, well, you heard about the Austin Keys deal today. Mm-hmm. And DeMario Tolan is probably not – let's just assume he's not coming back.
Right.
Now you're getting in a weird place in that linebacker room, and it's not one of your best position units right now. So I feel like they're going to do everything they can to help bolster that room, and I think they're going to get on him a little bit harder here.
Okay. I agree, Cole. And right now, I would say it's probably Auburn, Clemson with Arkansas hanging around right now, to the best of my intel on that one.
What about Alabama?
He said he wanted to visit them, was going to give them an OV this fall. I just don't know. I don't get the sense. And look, I take my intel from what Andrew Bone does. He's better at knowing what Alabama wants to do than I do, okay? And the last intel I saw from their side of the house is they were not overly pursuing Bradley. So I don't know. Maybe things change. Maybe they watch his senior highlights just like Auburn has and said, you know what? Second look here, he's a lot better than we anticipated, or he's changed, or he's more physical in the box than he was this time last year. He's matured some. So
it's just so hard with him because he doesn't say a lot. So you don't really know what's going on.
Exactly.
And even like Cole said, I mean, you have to go to the game, or you have to go to him in person typically to get anything out of him when it comes to his recruiting. And Cole, I'm sure you've learned by now, when you go visit a recruit for a game, you hope like hell they win, and they win big, when they want to just talk to everybody and anybody, take pictures with babies and mamas and all that stuff. That didn't obviously happen. So it's really tough, Bradley Shaw, knowing what's really going on with his recruitment. We saw Clemson offer was a couple weeks ago.
Yes.
So
probably about a month or so ago.
Probably not the same Clemson they were when they offered, though. Oh. Let's see. So Jhead had LJ McCray. You had Bradley Shaw on there. Who was your number 3, Jhead?
So number 3 was that flex tight end position, Rogers
Ooh.
Salapega, I think is how you say his name.
Yeah. I mean, and when you're talking about uncommitted guys, this is the of which we're aware. This is the only one uncommitted. Obviously, the 2 guys probably above him, if Auburn could have their way, would be Amir Jackson and I think Landon Thomas is what Amir Jackson committed to Florida. Landon Thomas committed to FSU, but Salapega was supposed to come to Big Cat, or was he? I think he was going to come earlier that week.
Yes.
And was it illness in the family?
It was an illness or a death in the family. One of the two. There was something that transpired that was outside of this kid's realm of control. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to make it. But Ben Agamai has worked this kid and his family hard, to the best of my understanding. I mean, extremely hard. He's connected well with everybody there. Obviously, there's some Tungeon roots between those 2 families. And so we'll see. I mean, he's got him scheduled to come back for an official visit, I believe, in November, potentially for the Iron Bowl, I think. So get him in that kind of an atmosphere, that kind of an environment, and we'll see. Now, he's got a top 4 of Auburn, Oregon, Tennessee, and Utah. 2 West Coast schools, 2 SEC schools. So you just, again, I don't know a ton. I know he's a massive target for Ben Agamai. I know he's scheduled to officially visit. And if you can keep him from committing elsewhere, look, he feels the need of everything you want in a flex tight end. He can absolutely play, extremely athletic. He plays mostly wide receiver in high school, or on his cutups he does anyway. You don't see a lot of him with his hand in the dirt. But you don't see that with Rivaldo Fairweather either, to be completely honest. So the position they're recruiting him for, he's tailor-made. So I see him as a big need. But, Cole, what's your input here?
Yeah, I've taken a look at him, and I think he's perfect for what you said, the flex there. And we know for a fact that is the key target for any tight end. I mean, they have to be a flex. He's not getting another traditional type guy like Collins. So he's another guy that I think stock is up right now for Auburn recruiting, at least. I think they really want to get him in the class. They want to get him on campus and see what happens. I don't have a lot of intel on him, but I think that I don't love Auburn's chances with Amir Jackson from Florida or from Georgia committed to Florida. So I think Salapega is the guy that they're probably going to hone in on a little bit.
I agree on Jackson. I think some things. I think Florida's going to really have to tank this year, and that's possible. Okay, because while the kid's firmly committed right now, they get to 3-8, 4-8, 3-9. Things change when that negative recruiting starts to bear down on you from every school that's recruiting you. Well, your mind tends to start to flip a little bit. But as of today, I would agree. I do not like our chances with Amir Jackson, Cole.
Okay. Good to know. Before, so you had Laquan Robinson.
Yes.
Yep. Laquan Robinson, the Juco from Holmes County, I believe, in Mississippi, originally from Greenville, Alabama. Ken Carter and Marlon Davidson neighborhood. Went to Juco out of high school. Now he's coming out. Auburn is in his top 5 with Texas A&M, Florida, Ole Miss, and Houston. As far as DBs go, here we are again. This is kind of the best uncommitted guy on the board.
Yes. Really that boundary safety that Zach's looking for, very hard hitter. I know Cole scouted him in high school. I mean, he will absolutely lay you out. In junior college, they played him at probably the field safety position more than they have at the boundary, just because of his range and athleticism. I think he would play the boundary more for us. But he's absolutely a guy that we can get in on. I think Zach Etheridge was recruiting him the first time around in 2021 when he was a high school target for us, and a really early offer from Derek Mason. And there's also another connection there. Barney Farrar, a former Hugh Freeze lieutenant at Ole Miss, is his co-defensive coordinator there, and somebody that, he'll ensure not steer him to Auburn by any means, but if Auburn wants to talk to this young man, if they want to get in his ear, he's probably going to get a positive review from Coach Farrar. So I like the setup on that one. We'll see. As the season goes on, as the evaluation goes with Laquan Robinson, that'll probably dictate, how well he performs this year, how hard we press there.
Number 5 is the guy we've seen shoot up Auburn's board, a couple of guys. Favor Edwin, the big offensive tackle from Eagles Landing in McDonough, Georgia.
Yeah.
Has an offer from Auburn, Alabama, Florida, I believe. Some others are getting to the mix. Raw kid, but as far as offensive lineman, again, uncommitted is the key word in this list. Favor Edwin is moving up fast.
I like Favor Edwin. He's a guy that did not play a year ago, and it had something to do with his transfer, from another country or whatever the deal was. He didn't play on the varsity team.
Mm-hmm.
So this is his first year of real, big time football. And it didn't take, he's got a lot of good offers. I'm pretty sure Alabama jumped in there at one point. I don't know how hard they're recruiting him, but, off the hoof, he's one of the more impressive offensive linemen you're going to see. I think Auburn's making some headway there. And there's a lot of connections, especially with the Hood family,
Mm-hmm.
Colton Hood and his, uncle, brother, all of them that are close to Auburn. So I think there's something going there. Since his offer, I haven't heard too much about him, but Auburn's definitely in the picture 100%.
Speaking of the Hoods, Jhead, one of your bonus targets there is Brandon, the running back. He tore his ACL, I believe, a year ago.
Yes.
So things have kind of been slow with him. People want to see how he's recovering, and but his older brother Colton signed with Auburn in the 2023 class. Roderick played at Auburn and was a star for the Eagles. He's now coaching Eagles Landing, coaching at Eagles Landing. But Brandon Hood, and then the other bonus was Reese Baker, the in-state offensive lineman. That I'm basically like, holler back when you're ready, big dog.
I think
we covered his recruitment so well in the spring and summer, expecting him to jump on board at any point because his second best offer is from Troy. Is Joe Bernardi at Troy, who, obviously was very high on him. Didn't come to Big Cat, thought was going to get wrapped up there. We really didn't know what Auburn's patience level was going to be with him. But, I checked a week or two ago, and it was, if he wants in, come on. So he's kind of like Bradley Shaw in that he doesn't do a lot of interviews, doesn't say a lot. So it's very difficult to kind of know what's going on with him. So, it's almost by default I have Auburn because it's his best offer.
Yeah, the second best offer, I think he's got offers from West Virginia, Tulane, and Troy. Those are the other ones that I think that are really kind of in the competition for him. But like you said, and look, I'll defer to Cole because Cole's got far better insight here than I ever will have as far as Reese Baker is concerned. Athletic kid, a kid I know they like a good bit. But I'm with you, Jeffrey, in that is the kid going to wait too long? Because Auburn's not waiting on the offensive line recruiting for him. I promise you that. They're turning to on a lot of different guys and trying to get whoever wants in the boat right now. I think they've got a list of about 7 or 8 that they are working extremely hard. And whatever 2 or 3 of that group they get, they're going to take. And they're not waiting on anybody else. So I think if Reese wants in, he's going to need to make that decision here relatively soon. But, again, that's just me speculating. Cole, how do you feel?
I totally agree. I thought it would be over by now, to be honest. I thought that – we've known for a while they felt pretty good about DeAndre Carter. We know they feel like they're going to have a shot to flip somebody here before it's over with. So depending on the numbers, I just sort of assumed that Reese Baker was probably not going to have a spot if he decided at the end here. But – I don't know if that's 100% true. I also don't know if it's not true. I'm very confused about the situation. And look, sometimes it ain't up to the kid. Okay, it's not always up to the kid. It's everybody around him who wants to help with the decision and wants to be a part of it. That's how it goes sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
They want to commit. Maybe their family's not ready for him to commit, and maybe he is. So there's things like that go on, and you just don't know. When it gets to that point, it's not bad on Auburn to go, well, look, there's nothing we can do. We need you now.
Right.
Can't sit here and wait on you. That's not how this works.
No, and look, Travis Williams is one of my all-time favorite stories when it comes from a recruiting standpoint. He called himself a pin snatcher. The second Joe Witt gave him a committable offer, done. He said, I tried to sign my NLI before they rescinded it. You know what I mean? That's what, if you're Reese Baker, I think you needed to be completely honest. Now, you may end up in this class. You may end up being the best offensive lineman in this class. I honestly have no idea. I know he's athletic. I know they like his technical skill set. He's going to have to improve his body. But there's some hesitancy for me there saying he's going to end up in this class because he hasn't committed to this point. And I just don't know what their patience is going to be. I mean, I honestly believe they're just going to try to fill up, and whoever gets in, gets in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree.
Some of the committed offensive linemen we'll be tracking who have either visited or said they're going to visit. TJ Lockhart committed to Mississippi State. Khalil House to Stanford, who Colorado just offered earlier today. Cohen Eccles out of Texas and A&M. He says he's going to come back. Jude Foster from Ole Miss. Another uncommitted guy that I haven't heard much about in a while, but Auburn has offered him borrow Shunky.
Yeah.
From South Dakota. He said he's going to visit. So there's some more guys, as Jay has said, from some flip candidates there. But if Reese Baker, I can't imagine if Auburn could get 3 of those guys I just mentioned. Baker will be on the outside looking in. We'll see where his recruitment goes, man. We'll see if he comes back to Auburn anytime soon. That Georgia game, will he be back? Will he say something? Will he not? Be keeping an eye on it. Good stuff, Jay. Appreciate that, big dog. Let's get to some questions from the corner. We'll do a little lightning round, man. We don't want to take any. We don't want to get anybody bored or sleeping. So we'll hit it 2 or 3 minutes piece at most. Auburn Mesh 24. Who are some legit flip candidates to Stanford going to the ACC in things with House? Ooh. Flip candidates. Let's give me your top 5 flip candidates on offense and top 5 on defense. Top 5 on offense: Kevin Riley.
Yes.
Running back was committed to Miami. Cam Coleman, wide receiver, committed to Texas A&M.
Yes.
Nye Carr, wide receiver, committed to Georgia. Tight ends, Amir Jackson, committed to Florida. What was the other kid's name? Landon Thomas to Florida State, as both of you said. I mean, they're flip candidates. Offensive line, I just named off all those guys that I just named off. Khalil House, obviously, being one of those. Listen, this conference stuff, I've been wanting to say this. When he committed to Stanford, look, he's not going to Stanford because of what conference they play in. He's not. You don't choose Stanford over Auburn because they're in the Pac-12 or they might be going to the ACC or so. Dude, that kid don't care. He's going to Stanford because he's going to have a Stanford degree when he leaves there.
I agree to a point. If they had dropped to the Mountain West, I think he might have cleared then.
All right. I would listen to that.
You know what I mean? If they had dropped to the Mountain West, I think that might have done it. But I don't think it's over with Auburn and this young man at all.
No, not me neither.
Proximity to home, I think, plays a major factor. And a lot of kids look very early on. Distance doesn't matter. I'm not worried about it. And then you start to go on and like, whoa, I got to fly home from San Francisco every time I want to see my family. That 2-hour ride to Houston County starts looking a hell of a lot better all of a sudden. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I expect to see him at the Georgia game. We'll see if that pans out. E. Maximus, when will we start hearing some more names emerging from the Juco ranks? This is a good question, Maximus. I know Young Haircut, Jhead. Oh, Young Haircut. That's what they call you?
Listen, man, that's what Fred started on the board. It got me a new nickname.
It's probably my fault.
Okay, so typically the Jucos will start about mid-season because these coaches want to see what these guys are doing in their sophomore years. How have they started off this season? Laquan Robinson. I did check on. You remember Markel Bell, who is Laquan Robinson's teammate at Holmes County. Yeah. Auburn tried to sign him, tried like hell to sign him in the 2023 class. He was going to reclassify. Auburn was going to take him, and he was going to come. He wasn't able to reclassify, and I checked with him last week, and he has not heard from Auburn since. But we will start hearing some more Juco names probably about mid-season. When some of these first half season highlights come out, I'll be my ears will be a little bit more pointed towards the west in those Jucos in Mississippi and Kansas. Texas is as well. All right, GVDB7, not OCBD. 2025 targets that Auburn is the team to beat with. Cole.
I think CJ May is one to start with. I think if Auburn wants him, they could probably make it happen pretty soon. I don't know if they're 100% ready to do that with him. I think they're toying with the idea of it, if that makes sense.
Well, it's going to be tough. It'd be awkward if they don't take him on it.
Well, I mean, look, you got so many edges in this class. It's so loaded. It's just one of those things where you might have to do that. I think you feel really great about how J.J. Falk feels about his commitment and how that's going. It seems like C.J. May might end up in the class, but we'll see how that plays out.
Alvin Henderson
for sure.
I think that's going to be a tough one with Tennessee. Last word I got was Tennessee really kind of blew his eyebrows backwards on the recent visit up there. I mean, I think Auburn's in a good spot with Alvin, no doubt. But I think those are the two teams at the top, and that's going to be that their involvement may drag out his recruitment a little bit longer.
We don't really have a lot of names in the 2025 class because we're in the heart of the 2024 cycle. So we could go through, spend some time on the 2025 offer board. We could spend a whole show on that. Maybe we will. Maybe on the bye week or something.
I got one more, Jeffrey, I want to mention.
Okay. I'm drawing a blank.
Mal Waldrop is a guy.
Oh, yeah.
Probably Dalen Upshaw, too.
Well, Mal Waldrop's real close to Spencer Dowling. So there's something in the works there from what I understand. And I think Auburn's got a great shot with Mal Waldrop. Nice.
Very good. Big lineman from Phoenix City Central, by the way, is Mal Waldrop. He's been to Auburn several times just this calendar year. So that would be a big one. Dalen Shaw is a wide receiver in the 2025 class that Auburn has offered. He's actually picked up another offer. I think it was Florida State not too long ago.
Yeah.
So he's legit. He's a legit wide receiver there playing alongside Cam Coleman. All right, the Pearly Gates. Bradley Shaw, any update on the commitment timeline for him? We talked a little bit about him earlier. Man, it's just so tough. Cole, do you know a timeline? That's a good question. A timeline. Are we talking midseason, end of the season, signing day?
He told me sometime during the season last time we talked.
I think, yeah.
Yeah, that's the best I can really.
He's going to get busy taking some visits.
What?
Yeah, some guys just don't get into the whole,
Has he taken any official visits?
3. So he's gone to Notre Dame, Georgia, and Arkansas, to the best of my knowledge. So he's gone 3. He was going to take – did he OV to Clemson, Cole, or did he just visit there?
I think it was unofficial, but
On 3 Visit Center has him visiting Clemson, Georgia 3 times. Let's see. Official visits to Notre Dame, Arkansas. Who'd you say the other one was?
Georgia.
They do not have him on that. They've got him 3 unofficial visits, but none this calendar year. Huh.
I was pretty certain of that, but I'll cross-check back. But I feel so 2 to 3, depending on, the reporting there. But I'm with you. He's probably going to take an official visit to Auburn, probably an official visit to Clemson. We'll see about Alabama, and then probably a decision shortly thereafter. But I think anytime from middle of the year to signing day, to be honest with that kid. Like, I don't have a feel for that one at all, Cole.
Yeah.
Arkansas and Notre Dame are his official visits. And then, of course, he was in Auburn for Big Cat. And he's a guy I would be on the lookout for that Georgia game as well.
Yeah.
That's probably a guy you want to get on here.
That game's loaded.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Let's see. Billionaire.B. Is DeAndre Carter a day one starter? I don't think there's such thing anymore.
Not on the offensive line. It's tough. Look, I mean, you don't want a freshman starting on your offensive line, if we're being honest. So
he's not like that excelled, right? I mean, he's not that.
He is athletically. I think athletically he is.
Listen, if Connor Lew can't.
Yeah.
And Connor Lew's technically more sound at this stage, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Cody Kanata. Do you guys think we will go after any linebackers from the transfer portal this year or just high school guys? It's a good question. Cody?
Yes. Hell yes. I think so.
I think so too. At least one.
Got to do it.
Until these guys until these high school guys can get up there and start contributing.
You wish you could do it right now.
Yeah, I completely agree. And for that matter, I think they're going to give a hard look in the Juco ranks at a linebacker as well. I think that's one of those positions. I think linebacker, defensive back, offensive line, and defensive line are places they're going to look for some junior college talent.
I like it. C-Rob90 wants to know, in y'all's opinion, with Cam Franklin not canceling but postponing his visit and McCray still having us in his top 5, does NIL or proof of concept matter more for those guys right now? Jhead, you look like you're ready.
For those two in particular, I think NIL, if I'm going to be completely honest with you on that one.
Well, we saw that with Cam Franklin, right?
Yeah.
We saw it firsthand.
Saw it firsthand. Look, they're selling need on the defensive line. I don't think proof of concept matters all that much to these two guys. I think you're telling them, look, fellas, I got a need right now. You can come in and you can play. You can be in the rotation this time next year if you get in practice and you earn it. Like we have time. So there's no real proof of concept on how you're going to be used on that one. It is straight playing time and NIL to me with both those guys.
Y'all heard what Lane Kiffin said in his post-game press conference, right?
No, I didn't. What'd he say?
I'm paraphrasing. I'm probably going to mess this up, but it was something along the lines of a reporter asked him, they scored on the first drive. Everything was better after that. But, what do you think about that? He goes, I paid pretty good money for some of those defensive guys, so it kind of makes me mad or something like that.
Whoa.
It had nothing to do against his players. It was totally I'm so sick of this college football world and what it is. I'm going to take every advantage, every single opportunity I have to make it look stupid if I can.
Dude, I wonder if that will be well, even in the pros, it's not like they go, yeah, we just signed that, gave him a signing bonus. It was an expensive interception or whatever it was.
Oh,
yeah.
You probably don't want to start that.
No, look, what you say privately and how you renegotiate a contract the next year are two totally different things. But airing that kind of stuff out in the media, not great from a chemistry standpoint, right?
Oof. Stephen Queef.
Oof.
Is the Deuce Knight transfer? Deuce Knight is the 4-star quarterback from Mississippi, George County, transferred to Lipscomb in Nashville, Tennessee. After 3 games, he has transferred back to George County, citing homesickness, which I have no reason to doubt it. And that's who Stephen Queef is referring to here. Deuce Knight's transfer midseason, a red flag for y'all, or just a kid wanting to get back closer to home?
Kid wanting to get closer back to home.
Yeah, I have no reason to doubt him. I don't know why people jump to these, red flag, whatever, dude. You listen, and somebody said, well, why do you well, listen, you can't get homesick if you don't leave home.
Correct. Look, and now I will tell you this. I think I said this well back in the summer. Ole Miss and Tennessee are going to be Auburn's hardest competition for Deuce Knight. I firmly believe getting that kid out of Mississippi is going to be very hard. It's just that certain Mississippi kids are that way. I think Hugh Freeze is going to do a fantastic job recruiting him. George McIntyre's another quarterback we're on. There's another kid, that from the Ohio area that's going to be coming in that you posted about the other day, Jeffrey. So,
Ryan Montgomery.
Yeah, Deuce isn't the only quarterback target, but that's going to be a tough recruitment. That's for sure.
Not worried about quarterback recruiting at all. Even if these guys from high school don't pan out, Hugh Freeze is going to go get a transfer portal quarterback. I'm not worried about that position as long as Hugh Freeze is the head coach of Auburn Tigers. Not worried about it.
Let me say this on that situation. That's a pretty good question there, because I think there's context. If somebody is transferring, and it's all about the reason to me.
Sure.
Because we've covered some guys who have moved high schools around and things, and it's not well received by coaching staff unless there's a really, really good reason.
Yeah.
It's not a red flag, I don't guess, but it's an eye opener. In other words, I'm going to do my research. And
absolutely. I want to make sure it is homesickness.
Yes.
Oh, for sure.
If it really is, if that's the case, then I think it's going to be fine.
So, yes. See, Rob, if that's what you mean by red flag is let's look into that a little bit more, then absolutely yes.
Maybe a yellow flag.
Yellow flag. Yeah, there you go. Not a red flag. Because, Deuce is a good kid. So, but yes, yellow flag. Good, well said there. All right, Augustus McCray. What current linebacker committed in the 24 class do y'all see contributing early before the others? Marcus Riddick, DJ Barber.
Absolutely. That's the one. To me, DJ Barber can come in and play right away because of just how he understands how to play the game, right? Like, conceptually speaking, DJ Barber is far more advanced than DeMarcus Riddick, who is, by all means, if you get it right, coaching that kid up, he's a first-round talent in the NFL. I mean, he's just dripping with talent. But DJ Barber, technically speaking, he understands how to play the game at the linebacker position, and he knows how to play it at a high clip. I think he could come in and potentially be in you 2 deep. With what we've got on the team right now, I think he could be in you 2 deep next year. Now, I hope he's not put in that position and we bring in some other veteran guys from the portal, but he can play.
I say Joe Phillips.
Oh,
I think Joe Phillips has a role early on because you can't keep a pass rush talent like that off the field.
Will 10. Who's the most naturally gifted high school player? All three of us being from 3 different regions of the state. This is a good question. Who's the most naturally gifted high school player you've ever seen in person? And for me, it's easy. Simple. He was from Jackson Olin High School.
Bo Jackson, baby.
Oh, no.
Oh.
I never saw Bo.
Oh, okay.
Mine was the Deuce. David Palmer. David Palmer was
That's a good one.
I got to see him against Minor. I was probably in junior high. He was several years older than me, but I remember going to the game, and I remember looking out and seeing this kid go in motion, do a back somersault tuck. That was the motion. He went in motion, went flipped. You know, of course, nobody could tackle him. He went on to he probably could have won a Heisman if he didn't. He had a what was the joke with David? David Palmer went to Alabama.
Yeah. The Deuce is loose.
I think he blew. His number was .22. I think he had a couple of Deweys while there. That's my .22. But so David Palmer for me.
Go ahead, Jhead.
No, go ahead.
Maybe make sure that was Jackson Olin.
I have a few candidates that are running through my head.
Yeah, J.O.
My dad coached Roman Harper when he was in high school, and I thought he was probably one of the greatest I've ever seen do it. He was unbelievable. He was the quarterback too. Honestly, another guy that my dad had his name was Corey Larkin. He ended up going to Tennessee, and he was a kick returner for them. Man, he was the real deal as far as running back goes. I coached a guy. I was on the coaching staff when Cam Taylor-Britt, who went to Nebraska, is now plays in the NFL. He was our quarterback. Dude, oh, my gosh. You talk about naturally gifted. He was unbelievable.
Kevin still wanted that kid so badly, too. God, Gus blew that one.
Yeah. I mean, he was one of those guys that changed high schools. He changed from Prattville High School to Park Crossing High School his senior year. So maybe that was a flag. Maybe it was at the time. I don't know, but probably the one I have to say is a guy I played against when I was in high school is O.J. Howard. He was ridiculous. He was ridiculous.
Those are some good ones, Cole. 2 for me. One I played against, one I coached against. The one I coached against was Chris Nixon. He ended up playing quarterback at Vanderbilt, but he was a 2-way player for Brundage High School, Pike County. I will never forget standing on the sideline. He threw a 65-yard bomb in the air, just completely flicked it out of his wrist. And then on the next play, he went in at safety when we took over on offense and literally hit our wide receiver so hard that the kid was knocked out cold for a solid 2 minutes. I mean, just a phenomenal athlete. And I think if Chris had played safety in college, Alabama recruited him as a safety, he would have been all SEC, but he wanted to play quarterback at the next level.
That's right.
The other one was Brett Edens. I played against Brett. In fact, they put me into the game to crack him. You remember his senior year, Brett was coming off an ACL injury. And my coach got in my face. He was like, all right, Head, you're going to go in there. You're going to crack block him, and I want you to dive right at his knee.
Oh, no.
And I started coming right downhill at Brett, and I wasn't going to do it. But I came in high, and he saw me coming, and literally, dude, turned into me, and he hit me with his elbow so hard that I flew 5 yards out of bounds. Now, as nice as he was, he walked over and picked me up and said, here you go, little man. You know what I mean?
Let me try
And, of course, the coach said, nice job, Head. You look real pretty, but you missed the block. You know?
Yeah. Nice haircut, big dog. Zach in the back said Reuben Foster against McGill Tulane in the playoffs was a freak, and his honorable mention was T.J. Yeldon and Daphne. Boy, all these Alabama commits, huh?
Yeah.
Thanks for throwing in that Brett Edens, though. Oh, Eli Double-Lot, what is your hot take following 1 week of college football? Can be about any team, player in college. I already told you my hot take. I told you my hot take on Sunday night. Shadur Sanders is the best player on the Colorado team.
Whew.
Yeah, you're right.
That's pretty damn hot.
Listen, he's good. When you I went back and watched the game again, and I think
he has my Heisman vote. If I had one, he would have my Heisman vote.
The thing that sticks out to you was his patience in that game. He took everything they gave him, everything, never pressed, and then took his shots downfield when he had them. But I can't get over Travis Hunter's 129 plays. You just don't do that, man. Like you don't play 129 plays at the level that he played at to catch over 100 yards, a touchdown pass.
Is that sustainable?
No, there's no way, man. His body's going to break in half if Deion tries to play him that way the rest of the year.
That's too much.
Yeah, I mean, you hear coaches at Auburn talk about 70 plays is too much. This kid doubled that up by 60 plays.
Hot take. Let's see.
I have 2.
Okay.
These are hot. They're coming in hot.
Okay.
Number 1, I think Clemson is going to bounce back. And
I'm okay with that.
I think they might beat Florida State when they match up and win the ACC. Told you it was hot.
Okay, I like it.
All right. Number 2, Gus Malzahn was right. Bo Nix is going to win a championship before he leaves college football.
Ooh.
Okay.
Pac-12.
Yeah, well, he said SEC. Or did he say national championship? I think he said national championship. You remember this? When he was a freshman in an interview, Gus Malzahn was like, he's going to win a championship before he leaves.
Yeah, believe it or not, he said that after they beat Oregon. That's got some.
Now, he was talking about Auburn, but he didn't specify from what I remember. So I'll say he was right and that Bo Nix is going to win a championship before he leaves college football.
Ooh.
Hey, man, listen, I'm going to have to toot my own horn about – hey, I said when Bo Nix was a freshman, he'll be in New York before he leaves college. Zach in the back says, hot take, Bo Nix finishes top 2 for the Heisman, and Ohio State, Alabama do not make – Ohio State and Alabama do not make the college football playoff?
Wow.
I'm not with you on that, Zach. I think Alabama's going to absolutely –
Alabama's better than I thought they were. Was Jalen Milroe? They're better than I thought they would be.
Yeah.
They're better than I hoped they would be.
We will see this week for sure.
I think they're going to stomp the shit out of Texas.
I kind of do too, but it's, it'll be fun for a quarter, I think.
Maybe.
I think Saban's going to prove a point. I think he's going to he's going to stuff Sark in the locker, brother.
Did you see him stick the band and the fans up there?
Yeah.
They stuck him up in the upper deck corner. I loved it. That was awesome.
Hey,
never have the balls to do that.
I'm taking notes because I'm starting to get into the media where we're asking questions. I'm starting to get into that gig a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And Hugh Freeze press conferences. Do not ask Saban a hypothetical question. What are you thinking? Look, think about it. Don't ask him a hypothetical question. And for that reason, I have learned I'm not going to be asking those kind of questions.
I just wish sometimes somebody would go, man, hey, you don't have to be rude. You don't have to be rude.
What's he going to do, right?
Yeah. Call him out. Don't be rude. I'm sorry, but don't be rude. Don't be a Richard.
Boy, did I tell you?
All right. Anybody got any how about yous this week?
My hot take, real quick.
My bad.
Clemson's going to go 8-4 this year, and they're going to lose 3 more. Florida State, they're going to lose to North Carolina. I got one other team on their schedule. Oh, and potentially to South Carolina.
Oh, South Carolina. That's a win-win for me. I don't care who loses, as long as somebody loses that game.
I'm with you. But yeah, I don't like that team.
That's the cringe bowl for me. Shane Beamer and Dabo Swinney. That's the cringe bowl. Both of them make me cringe more than any coaches. I don't know why.
I think Dabo, because he's so self-righteous at times. Like, look, and he believes it.
Hickory dickory dock.
Yeah. He believes it. He's authentic. But look, did you watch the wide receivers in that game, Cole? They are average. They are average. And they just don't have anybody that can stretch the field for that young quarterback. And so I feel like Drake May is going to get off in that ass. I think Florida State, they're just too – I don't think Clemson can stop those two wide receivers for them. I honestly don't. It's just –
Look, logically, I know that's true. But this is college football.
This is true. This is true. And I will tell you this, Clemson's defensive line is legitimate. I mean, they are legit.
Yeah, for sure. P.J. Parker and Peter Woods from last year's Alabama's class, state of Alabama.
God, man.
Yeah, Peter Woods, he was impressive.
Yeah.
P.J. Parker, too, man. He was
I didn't see him. Okay.
He was crazy good, too.
And my other hot take, Colorado loses this week to Nebraska.
Oh, there it is.
Nothing will make me happier.
So Deion fans, get up in my mentions. I know it's coming. You know what I mean? They're going to tell me.
Listen, I like Colorado. I loved watching them play. Yes. I thought they were fantastic, dude. It was just all the media. Colorado. That's what pissed me off. So it's nothing against Colorado. It's all the media that was just dropped to their knees for that.
It's unbearable.
Well, and this. And
Deion's going to watch this, so I just want him to make sure that I'm a big fan.
Yeah, right.
Coach Prime, I love you.
Coach Prime, excuse me.
Yeah. TCU made zero adjustments, defensively speaking. They played man-free the entire game and let you chew them up in the slot. Matt Rule is going to play match coverage and bump and run. He's going to try to grind the football out and choke you out and make sure that you don't get the opportunities you got last week. I firmly believe Nebraska is going to win that game by 3 points in Boulder.
Well, there's one thing people are missing about the Colorado team. Their offense is fantastic.
Yeah. They're terrible.
Defense is atrocious.
Yeah, man.
Right now.
I think TCU, if they win 8 games this year, I'll be impressed. I was not impressed with TCU.
They're going to have to make some adjustments, and Kendall Briles is going to have to start running the football in the red zone. He made some bonehead.
Oh, God. Yeah, you're not kidding. I hear you. All right, let's get some how about yous, and we'll get out of here, man. Sorry to keep everybody. We just like to ramble on sometimes.
There you go.
Let's see.
Get your pencil ready.
All right, let's do it.
I got a bunch.
All right.
Okay.
DMAC 73.
DMAC, is it DMAC?
MAC 73.
All right. How about you to DMAC 73?
CK 2007. CK 2007.
Uh-huh. How about you, big dog?
Also, Auburn Hooper.
Okay.
Been a little bit controversial on the board with a few other posters, but hey, I like his takes. I think he's usually pretty spot on. So
okay.
I don't think I've ever given him one.
Okay.
How about my man Charlie 5?
Okay.
He called me on something, and I appreciated it because I think I looked at it wrong and went back, and I was like, you know what? I think you're right on that, Charlie. So
how about you to Chuck?
Mm-hmm.
And along with that, same thing, Cooked W, or however you say his name. You know who I'm talking about.
Cook Ed W.
Cook Ed W, yeah. And then my big how about you, well, I have 2 big how about you this week. I'm talking, you can times 2 them if you want.
Okay.
ASWE, also known as Anthony from Montgomery.
There you go.
Oh, man, all right.
I did not know you could talk the talk, buddy.
Wasn't he fantastic Sunday night?
He really was. He really was.
Awesome. And he played linebacker in high school, so he knows what he's talking about, and I'm all in for that. And then, of course, my man, Kid Country.
Oh, Kid.
Had to hang out with the kid in Selma the other night. Really enjoyed it. He introduced me to a lot of people. He was great, man. Every bit of what you hear on the phone, that is Edward from Selma in real life.
You think you'll get the invite to the barbecue?
I think I get
Did you pass the vibe check?
I think so.
All right.
I get it.
Jhead, any?
Yeah, I got 3.
Oh, shit.
The first 2 are going to be a little controversial because most people were not going to agree with what I'm going to say. But the first one's going to be metaphor because he had me in stitches in that Dabo Swinney thread. And somebody said that Dabo was going to get fired. He said, "Are you an idiot? I got to pay him $60 million." Granite Tiger had also had some good posts where he made me laugh a little bit. You talking about hammering people. And then Mandingo Warrior for his post on Wesley Steiner earlier today. Really great. I'm glad he brought attention to that situation. I had not. I mean, I knew that Wesley had some personal struggles, but really appreciated him sharing that today on the board.
Yeah, all those good. Mendigo's fantastic poster. I got. How about you, the Jhead, man? Appreciate that post today. It was fantastic. The top uncommitted recruits, and then my only other how about you this week goes to Coach Jim Vakakis, man. OG Coach Vakakis. He was a legend at Fairfield High School. They're going to be honoring him this week at Fairfield with the John Carroll game Thursday night, tomorrow night. He spent 11 years at Fairfield. Fantastic man, fantastic coach. I consider him a friend along with his sons, Tim and EJ. But Coach V was at Fairfield for 11 years, produced a lot of wins, produced Connis Miller, coached him in high school, coached T.D. Moultrie in high school.
Yes, sir.
Had a fantastic career, really good guy, and they're going to honor him tomorrow night at the Fairfield John Carroll game. How about you, Coach V? That's it. Let's wrap it up there, folks. We had a fantastic show, a little longer than I thought we would, but we managed to fill it with some stuff. We appreciate everybody watching. One more time for Miss Jessica Andrus with the Talents Group. If you need anything in or around Auburn Opelika real estate related, give her a call, 334-704-4442. Tell her we sent you. She is a 5-star realtor, as Mr. Jhead says. All right, we're going to wrap it up there. We will be back Friday with the modcast. We'll be back Sunday night for the call-in show. I think Cole and Justin will be is it Thursday? Tomorrow, yeah, for the football show. Yeah. Auburn plays at Cal. Saturday night, I think they kick off around midnight. Is it 9:30?
Yeah,
9:30.
9:30. My goodness. Everybody have a safe weekend. Enjoy your weekend. Have a good weekend. We'll see you back Sunday night. For Jhead, for Cole, for Zach in the back, I'm Jeffrey Lee. Y'all stay out of that left lane. See ya.